Episode 4. With so much focus on the mystery to the deaths of Tal and Spencer, people begin to wonder about the integrity of the investigation. The detectives knew this case would draw a media blitz and potentially lead to a cult-type following. They made damn sure they dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's. They never left an interview for this series without pushing the narrative that they not only worked as hard on this case as any other, but put that little extra and extraordinary effort, regardless of the outcome. Without physical evidence or an eyeball witness to a case, you're left with pieces of a puzzle that can look like a black cat paddling a canoe across a lake at midnight when Mercury and Venus are out on a September moonless night. Endless interviews of friends, family, neighbors, store clerks, you name it. Watching hours of surveillance video and ruling out any potential witness, suspect, or accomplice. In this case, reading years of text messages, emails, social media messages, handwritten notes, and looking for any clue to push investigators in the right direction. Identifying totems, books, candles, knives, wine bottles, and figuring out where they were purchased. Interviewing employees at every store for nearly every obscure item in Spencer's studio to find that one micro-expression, to give them some piece of suspicion to get some traction going the right way. They never got going the right way. The first set of interviews were with the women Spencer was with at the outdoor bar where she and Costello had a drink at a back table after he bought them a round of shots. Each interview was the same. Spencer called one of them last minute, asking about going out for drinks, and was included in on a celebration for one of them finishing her master's program. They each remembered a man in shorts and a cardigan interrupting them with a toast and buying them shots completely out of the blue. They each said he didn't appear to have any bad intention. In fact, they all said he seemed rather pleasant and was the least bit threatening. Not all of them, but two of them, clearly remember Spencer inviting him to go sit alone and have a drink together. None of them were concerned because she somewhat invited herself along, and they all knew her as a self-sustaining nomad. One of the women oddly remembered his toast, verbatim. Here's to your night being filled with memories you can't repeat to your coworkers next Monday. Health benefits and per diem for sex workers, and suffering sleep paralysis during a home invasion. She said it all just flowed seamlessly to her. It was her celebration, and she had recently finished her master's in sexual psychology. There was something compelling about the way he created an evolution from hiding proclivities from your coworkers to an openness towards sex work, and finally the terrifying stillness during one of the most invasive things that could happen to a person. The toast truly rattled off as drunken nonsense, but had an underlying quality of awareness. She also very distinctly remembered he had a graphic t-shirt on under his cardigan with two older characters. She didn't know who they were, but assumed by the image they were from the 30s or 40s. The last bit of information she provided was an assumption he wasn't from Seattle. Detectives attributed her capturing all of these details to her inquisitiveness regarding his toast. The majority of the women who witnessed this man spend time with Spencer before her murder basically remembered him buying them a round of shots and toasting them with the lengthy, nonsensical utterance of words. None of them gave a helpful description. All described a white male in his 30s, short, light brown hair or sandy blonde hair, 6 feet, medium build, 0 tattoos or scars. The description gave detectives something to look for after initially watching surveillance videos with absolutely no target. The claim of him possibly not being from Seattle pointed them in the direction of flights to and from Seattle. Unfortunately, without a name, without a better description, without any identifiers, the manifests may as well have been puzzles designed by Tetsuya Miyamoto. They eventually went back to the area of the bar where Spencer and the man sat alone. They interviewed employees at nearby bars and learned he made several stops, but once again came up empty. At each bar, he paid in cash, and at each bar was zero surveillance video. He was a ghost. 1,000 hours. Costello had seen enough. There was no doubt in his mind he was associated to the murders. There was no reason to watch the rest of the series again. If detectives haven't come to knock on his door by now, he is nowhere on their radar. His stomach was in his throat, and he knows this is how he will feel for the rest of his life. He's going to eventually have to muster the will to go down to the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department and explain his situation with Seattle. First, he's going to bring back his old friends and have them explain what the fuck he did and how he did it. Because as long as he's known himself, he's never met the murderer.